So today I'm going to address comments I've had recently. They're all pretty much related. Why did I buy a new Hillyberg tent? What's the most dangerous thing you're going to run into on a thru hike? What might be one of your biggest expenses on a thru hike or just out backpacking? And it's all the same, rodent damage. And so, yeah, I bought a new Hillyberg tent because a pack rat just chewed the heck out of my other one on the Arizona trail. And I'll finish this video with a clip from that to explain it a little more. It's really a problem. It's the biggest thing I fear when I'm hiking. I've had moose step on my guy lines and snap them in the middle of the night. I've had bears stick their head through the zipper of my vestibule, stick their head in my vestibule. But rodents, if they get to you, they're going to chew guy lines for sure. They'll chew your pack in your vestibule. They'll chew your tent up. The best thing to do is just to get up and move. And that's what I should have done. But, I had a long day. I was tired. I didn't. But I'll guarantee you, anytime, you learn from your mistakes, and that was a mistake. As tired as I was, as dark as it was, as late at night as it was, I would have just moved and saved myself a lot of money. So often I don't use those little icon tent sites on far out because that's where people have congregated and that's where rodents are congregating. So I just move on. That's like the mother lode for a rodent if he's finding food scraps all the time. So it's not always apparent that there's rodent activity in the area when you're setting up your tent. But if you hear chewing in the middle of the night, my suggestion is to move because you're not going to scare them away. They're going to keep coming back. Here's an example of what happened to me, and you can learn from that.
So let me tell you what happened last night. I said, I was hiking in the dark because I had a full moon. I don't really like to sleep in the valley. It's colder. I like to sleep up on the ridge, and it's hard to find campsites up on the ridge sometime. But I did find this little fjord in the trail that made a big hairpin turn, and in that little saddle there, I found a spot back in the cactus and just a postage stamp size for my tent. Of course, I'm setting up. I've got a torch on, my headlamp. The whole world can see I'm up there. I've got the whole place lit up. Setting my tent up, got everything set up, got my air mattress blown up, crawled in my tent, shut the vestibule fly, and then I had an intruder. And a weapon I don't talk about very much that I carry in times like this, I'm glad I've got it. And it's not just the Arizona trail, it's happened on a lot of other trails for me. They didn't issue me one of these in the Marine Corps, but I carry one now. And go ahead and laugh, but when push comes to shove, you'll wish you had a sit pad too. So last night, I'm all zipped into my tent, and I'm washing my feet, and all of a sudden a little head pops under my tent, about the size of a softball, hardball maybe, little fuzz face, pack rat. And he decides he wants my tripod. He starts off with my tripod, and I yell at him, and I grab it, and I pull it back, and I think, well, he's gone. I yelled at him. I know better than that. He's not going away. So I go back to washing my feet, getting cleaned up to go to bed, and he comes right back 30 seconds later. Now he's on my water. So I have my water bottles here right outside my tent, and my tripod sits with it because I carry it. So I carry them together. When I get up in the morning, everything's organized. When I get my water bottles, I get the tripod. Anyway, he just comes right in, and I'm shocked because my wife and I you know, live in a motorhome most of the time, and we're out here all winter long. And most people out here with an RV put lights under their engine, which is what I do. I've got lights wired right into my engine, so when we're out boondocking in that same area, really right down in the Los grasslands, we camp there a lot in the winter. Lots of wildlife and pack rats. So they're not supposed to like lights, so I've got LEDs all underneath my engine because they chew your wires. It's an expensive little problem. Anyway, obviously that doesn't work because I've got my headlamp on. My tent's lit up like an operating room, and he doesn't care. He comes in and jumps on my water bottles, and he's trying to figure out how to chew them. That plastic, he can't get any purchase there. And so I nailed him good. I figure that'll take care of him, and off he went. And now, again, with impunity, he just comes back and he's searching around in my vestibule like, hey, what do you have, Dick? Anything you don't need? And then I get him 3 times and he's gone. But I know I'm going to have a problem all night long, so I go to bed. Actually, I went out and I undid the ties on the ends of my tent to make my tent really loose, because there was a slight breeze, and I thought just that flapping tent, he'll think, you know, I'm not going in there. That looks too dangerous. And, you know, I've had some sleep, but not a lot. And I would hear him chewing once in a while, and I'd slap at him. But I had, you know, then you doze off, and, you know, I really should have gotten up and moved. But I'd already done 22 miles that day, and I just didn't feel like moving. I felt like putting up with a pack rat. So I get up this morning about 4:30, he's chewing, and I decide to check things out, and my ground cloth looks like Swiss cheese. I've got a line here that I've retied. It goes between my poles on the tent. He chewed that. He chewed my guy lines at this end. I've got to retie that. But really, my ground cloth saved me. You know, another reason to carry a ground cloth, I guess. I can replace this 1443R Tyvek, you know, for 20 bucks. But he didn't really chew at all that I can see. I've gone over it real well. He hasn't chewed on my Hilleberg Eden besides the guy lines. And I carry elastic on the guy lines, and he chewed the elastic and then he ran off with that. And the only damage that I think might be on there that I really can't tell is when he cut my guy line, my tent fell into a prickly pear cactus, and it was stuck there this morning. So there definitely are some little needle holes in it, but other than that, I survived. But I just got up at 4:30 this morning, decided, you know what, I'll walk in the dark for a couple hours again and just get away from him. And you know, I could have solved the whole problem by taking my shoe and killing him, but you know, we're all trying to eke a living out of this cold world, and so who was the intruder? Me. I was in his neighborhood. So anyway, you're going to run into those kind of things all the time if you're through hiking. You never know where you're going to stop and who lives there. Keep smiling.